we doing, buddy? Roger, you know what? I never know how to pronounce your last name. Is it Roger Chenard? Roger Scher? I have no idea.
I don't want you even knowing it.
That's probably best for both of us. Roger, it's a pleasure to have you back, buddy.
Chenard.
How you been?
Yeah, we're such good friends. It's Chenard. Chenard.
I thought so. You think I would have asked a year ago, but you know me. I don't know what day it is half the time. We've had quite a year. We've had some great our hang at Silver Scream. That was one of the greatest hangs of all time.
That was fun. We're doing it next year. We'll be on the same corner until one of us can't stand anymore.
Exactly. And what 100%. They don't know, Roger, the thing about guys like us, we don't get to just sit at the table. When we're superstar international celebrities, we got to take pictures. We got to sign stuff. It is fun. All joking aside, we love when you guys do show up. It means the world to us. It still geeks me out, that's for sure. And hanging with one of your best friends and just, hanging with people that believe in what you do.
And seeing your favorite wrestler.
Rhea Ripley. Stand by Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley walking by that table.
I fucking walked away after that comment.
I geeked out for Rhea Ripley. I know one day we'll be together. That I'm sure she's going to appreciate a guy going, "You're my favorite wrestler." For real. Always a suave move with me, one after another.
I loved you selling all your kids' toys. That was the best.
Fuck those kids. That's my theory. That's what my dad always said. He had multiple families, actually, which was nice. He left them all. He left 3 families. I was inside. I was in the middle one. Really, really good guy, stand-up guy. Reminds me of, he's kind of a disappointment. Well, before we get to disappointments, let's talk about positives. Let's talk about something that's coming out. All fucking cylinders locked in, engines firing, really momentum with this album. The cover, the artwork is sick. The songs we've heard, I've got to hear, thanks to Roger, are just magical. Everything about this album has a lot of hype, and I believe in this thing. And you want to tell everyone what I'm talking about?
So All Sinners signed to a label called Rat Pack Records, based out of New Hampshire. I've been friends with them for a while. Hooked in with the record store. So I carried a lot of his stuff.
Nice.
And he heard the record and he heard the first 2 songs and he called us and he's like, "Hey man, I want to put this out and it's really good." The record has a lot of heart. I feel it's a step up from the demo stuff. It's not the same pace. A lot of bands write the same tempo and everything. We had more time with this. We had a year and a half to almost 2 years to write this record. It's tough, being an old man and everybody has jobs, kids, life, and
we don't get old, Roger. You're out there. I don't know how you do these things, by the way. You've got the album coming out. You're out performing live. You run a record store, very successful, well-known record store. I mean, it really is. I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. I love that store. If we weren't friends, I'd be a regular all the time anyway. You've got other projects you do sometimes. I'm not going to bring it up today, but you do a lot of things,
If you have a birthday party, in your area, I'll put that project together just for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But you really, you call yourself old, and that drives me crazy because all I see is a band out there doing youthful things. I see a guy that's, always standing up in that store, walking around, talking to everybody. At Silver Scream, we were doing 10-hour days. It was a hell of a thing. And you just got you've got that momentum. And I tell people about you. I've told this, to you that you're someone to look up with this. You don't give up. You may complain. We complain sometimes a little bit, Roger. Nothing crazy.
At least not on the air.
Not on the air.
I think maybe not to look up to, maybe look after. I guess that's, I would, like me, I looked up to my dad. I looked up to my uncle. There's other people that look up to different people in their lives that, hit them. Don't look up to me. I've made a lot of mistakes. Look after me. Look at the stuff that I've, or anybody how they've succeeded.
When they've succeeded, when they, same thing here. I have a lot of skeletons in the closet, a ton of them, but I do try and live in the now and try and be as good as I can be to everybody. And you're being good to everybody with this music coming out. When you say you had a year and a half to drop the tracks, you hook up with a record label. I mean, people dream of these things. They dream of them. When you were recording, how was the process? Were you guys flowing nice? Was there any, negativity, any arguing?
No, we don't really argue. I think
Good.
I'm the biggest bitch in the whole band. The other guys are, you know, we had a great weekend this weekend. We played with the LA Guns guys all
Amazing.
weekend. Super good dudes. I gave Tracy, a friend of mine who passed, he pinstriped these little amps, and it's just a 2 input amp, one in, one out. And it's just like, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches big. Tracy loved it, put it in. He's like, I'm keeping this forever, and it's going to be in my guitar case.
Amazing.
So it's like,
Yeah.
there's certain cool things, and then they had the guitar tech, Slash's guitar tech out with them guys.
Sick.
And he was asking me about, how we have our setup and, different things, how we do things. And it's just like, what, huh? Like, one of the most iconic guitar players of, modern century. You have Jimmy Page, Jimi Hendrix, Slash. You ask somebody who's the 9th president of the world, and you put a picture of him up or a picture of Slash,
Right.
they're gonna know who Slash is, not that other fucking guy.
So true.
But we're starting to play with a lot of those bands. We'll be out in LA in November.
Nice.
And then we have our record release party that you're going to be hosting.
Wow. Look at the honors here I get hanging out with this legend.
Well, we haven't confirmed it yet, but we did talk about it. I want to make sure nothing's come up or anything like. I know I have to put you in the hotel, by the casino, and everything else.
Exactly. I need a bankroll. I need bail money. I need hooker money. I mean, I need a hotel money. No, it's an honor that in any way. I mean, first of all, I love announcing anything, hosting anything, emceeing. I'm so full of myself. I get done at those events and I'm like, man, you really are something. People really do love you. Now, we don't talk about the aftermath. We don't talk about the coming down to reality and coming down to earth. We talk about the good times on this show. It's the good time, happy show.
Yeah, like when we're out in public and somebody comes up to us, we throw the 1 up, the 2 up, the 3 up. It's a modern contest, which is fun.
We do. We have a blast. Did you just play in Patchogue, by the way?
Yes, on Thursday night.
Patchogue, the madman. That's his old stomping grounds. Went to high school there. Grew up there. It's a weird universe and it's a small world. And that was with the LA Guns also, right?
Correct. Yeah. Club nice. 89 North. Great club. Very nice staff. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's awesome. And yeah, people go check the album out the second it drops. We'll get the links in the bio in here and everything, so you can check out where to go pre-order it. You got a lot of momentum with these bands. I mean, you've opened for Ace Frehley's and Queensryches and all these iconic bands that a lot of people wish they could. And it's just something to show people. You just keep going at it, right? You keep going at it. Roger will tell you everything's not fun and games, that's for sure. But you just stay the course and good things happen. You got to stay committed.
Yeah, at this pace in life, like, with how much, responsibility and how hard touring is, we're just taking it for what it is. And with, we're not, I can't go broke anymore. I can't play Pittsburgh and some kid goes, hey man, I can set you guys up in a bakery and, pay you $35 to come out. I'd be like, that's fucking awesome. Let's play. Let's get some cupcakes and fucking drive fucking 9 hours. I can't do that anymore. So, I'll lose my house. I'll be living with you.
You'll be living with me, and this guy's ego is so big. It's not a fun guy to be around. I don't know if I told you that. I probably told you this story 5 times already, but when I was on the road during the Metal Horror Madman tour this year, starting at Silver Scream, that's where the tour started, and I was in Pennsylvania getting ready for the Hershey show, just got done with Louder Than Life, and we're at the hotel lobby there, right? We're sitting there, me and my son, we're having chicken wings, he's pounding hard drinks, I'm having a beer, and we're sitting there, and the bartender has the audacity to go, oh, Slayer. She sees the Slayer on my arm, and she goes, my daughter's the biggest Slayer fan there is. And I literally started laughing. And I go, that's a good chuckle. I don't know if you know who you're talking to right now. I'm just showing everyone my ego. And she goes, no, our dog's name is Slayer. I'm going to show you her Instagram. And now This is the ego. This is why nobody wants to live with me, Roger. These are the reasons right here. She goes down the first pinned. The second pinned is my video screaming fucking Slayers at the top of my lungs. The lady lost her mind. My ego went through the roof. Other people at the bar wanted pictures with me. I just played the part. A guy I know always tells me, act like you've been there before, and I wanted to slip that in also because that is very important when you're trying to accomplish anything. People don't want to see fanboys all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. But no matter what, we have a good time. That's
we have
all
a good
counts.
time all the time. And that's what it's about, good times. But sometimes it's not a good time. And I was reminiscing the other day. I was reminiscing about albums coming out, thinking about the new All Sinners and going, that's a positive album. But what were times where I was hyped for an album and it wasn't what I wanted? And one of my most famous times was me and my buddies. We couldn't wait. Skid Row, Subhuman Race, right? We loved Slave to the Grind. We loved the first one, but Slave to the Grind, that was the hard shit. It was heavy. It was aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seb Bach, who I love, right? Love the solo stuff. Love the stuff with Skid Row. Says we're trying to take the band in a heavier direction, which made sense at the time. The scene had changed drastically. And that album came out. Roger, and I was on the Long Island Expressway, and we had it in the CD player of my Trans Am. I remember this like it was yesterday. I took the CD out, 3 songs in, and just whipped it out the window. I was so annoyed with that album. I just couldn't get it. Now, years later, this sounds weird, but I actually like a lot of songs like My Enemy and stuff off that album. They've grown on me. At the time, it was just something I couldn't do. And being a dumb teenager, that's what I used to do. I used to throw an album out the window or just throw it in a garbage can. You know, I didn't give a shit about anything. But it was that Slave to the Grind album just meant so much to my youth. You know, it was one of those things where I just really loved that album. And this came out and it was just like, it punched me right in the face. Like I couldn't believe the sound change. And then, you know, you look on some of the stuff going on with the band at the time and especially the scene. Those things happen. So that one stuck out with me because I literally remember throwing it at them. One of my friends was pretty pissed. He could have given me the CD, and I was like, no one needs that CD.
Yeah, no, exactly. But the thing is, like, you don't want a band to write the same record every single time.
That's true.
You do, but like,
you need variants of it. You need.
I'm taking this whole thing right now. Anything put out by Metallica after the Injustice record to me was a letdown. Like it was.
Wow.
Like, come on, you listen to those early Metallica stuff. Like you want to punch your friend in the face as soon as they stop playing it. And then it just, I don't know. I think too many people got it into their heads on how to write stuff because they had such a platform to be able to release stuff.
And that's like, a band.
I saw Injustice for All. I talked about it today at the store. I saw Injustice for Queensryche opening up for Injustice for All at the Civic Center. I saw this guy roll down the stairs, probably you, like headbanging. And I just like looked and I was just getting, I was senior in high school and this dude's rolling. I'm like, this is the fucking coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. Look at that. That dude's got to work tomorrow. He's fucking laying there on the fucking ground. Was it you?
It could have been. I wouldn't remember is the problem. The problem is if I touch the sauce once in a while, it's never a good. It's a funny story after, but not during the times. But yeah, Metallica's a great. It's one of those things where people will argue with you, like maybe this album showed some old sparks of that album, but it's never going to sound the same. It's never going to be what they were. And I go back with them often because I remember when Load came out, it really broke my heart. Like I was like, they're not metal anymore. There's no metal on that album. The riffs aren't heavy. They changed the look. They started changing who they were touring with, and it really, really hurt me. But when I'd see them live, it was that it was the old. They were unbelievable, right? They crushed it every time. I saw them during, I think it was Reload. They were at the Tampa Bay Ice Palace, and I was kind of like reluctant to go because I just had lost interest. And I saw them live, and I'm like, holy shit, this band still. They just come out swinging. They're just such a good type band live. Why can't they get back to that on the albums? Their heart's not in it like it used to be.
But I like the new record. Like the new record rocks. New record has some great songs, but I think my tastes stayed the same. Metallica changed. Listen to me. You know what I mean? I'm wearing old slippers right now, but I think my taste stayed the same, and they had to change. You know, did they really want to write the same record every single time?
True, and also, you know, I say this all the time. If I'm getting paid the money they're getting paid, and the label's pressuring me, and the promoter, and blah blah,
Oh
the
yeah,
manager, they're set forever. They, you know, at the end of the day, they still have some of the greatest metal ever written. They're still one of the greatest live bands touring to this day. They are set fine. You have to go that way. The scene changed so drastically in the not like people reminisce a little different sometimes about the 90s and 90s metal. And I'm like, the underground, right? That's where it was kind of flourishing. But the mainstream area died. All the big bands gave up on the sound. The people weren't coming out. And you just go, maybe if they went back to those early albums, they wouldn't still be so relevant, right? They go to Gillette, they sell 2 nights in seconds. They do
yeah,
world tours. So I'm never putting these bands down. Another band that really, a band that, this is probably the biggest one for me. I'm the biggest Misfits, Samhain, Danzig solo fan. Danzig 1,
yeah.
2, and 3 to me, perfect, perfect albums. I love Four. A lot of people don't. Stalker Song, Little Whip. I think that's another great album. He started experimenting with Can't Speak, and he puts that Danzig 5, Black Acid Devil, and just the whole band's gone. Everybody's gone. The core, the sound of that band is gone. He goes full techno. The thing we all love about Danzig, his voice, he drowns that out.
Yeah.
It's I'm still one of the biggest Danzig fans there'll ever be. I don't ever listen to that album. Maybe 10 years ago I tried again. The cover of Hand of Doom just it hurt me so. I can't explain the Danzig fan I was. I was a psycho Danzig fan during that time. And when that dropped, I never saw a band change that extreme and not pull it off either, right? It just didn't work. And again, doesn't take away from his legacy. The scene was changing. Sure, a lot of pressure on him as well. Guys out there touring still frequently. You got the Misfits. Still a huge fan. But that album, oh, did I hate that album? I went and sold. I probably paid $22.99 at fucking Sam Goody for that album. Traded it in for $2 and was happy. I went to Blimpie. I used to go to fucking Blimpie. That was a fucking Subway fucking place, and I don't even know if there is a fucking Blimpie anymore. That was a side quest they went on, Roger. But that album really, I couldn't believe how. I could never get into that album. I don't know.
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%. That's another thing. Wasp did that. Wasp went techno.
That's right. Yeah.
Very electronic. But like a lot of people don't like Headless Children. Doesn't like
True.
that era after the first four.
Yeah.
I love Headless Children.
That's my favorite Wasp album. Yeah, I love that album.
Is that one, and the few after it. To me, I love that era, and it just, you know what? How can I say it? You just can't write the same record every single time. If not, you're going to get that review. Hey, this sounds like the last record.
True. True. And also, people don't realize when you could say, like you just said, they had 4 classics and maybe an EP, and it's like, you're already built that legacy. If you could get 4 iconic albums to me, you're there forever. You're cemented on Mount Rushmore. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't. When you look at all these bands from the past, bands that fell off, bands I love like Rat, right, and these other bands that Crew and all these bands, these legacy bands, but they're cemented forever. People know who they are. People will always know who these fucking bands are, and it doesn't matter what that later stuff was. And I see that sometimes. I actually get, I look at some of the artists that put out albums, legacy artists, and I'm like, this new album's going to be forgotten. It's going to always be those first whatever amount of albums. Even a band like AC/DC to me. All this later stuff, whether you like it or not, it's just a weird time to realize it's not going to be stuff people look for in the future. It's just stuff that came out, they tore, it's gone.
I put Flick of the Switch in the $2 bin. It's the only way I get rid of it.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Yeah. And people buy it for $2. Like, it's gone.
It's gone.
Another letdown, Theater of Pain. I mean,
that's
1984. There wasn't anything heavier than Shout at the Devil. The first thing, and in the beginning, comes out, and you're like, you were a young kid, and you're like, oh my God, I've never heard heavy stuff like this, and it's like, oh my, and then they came out with super pink masquerade masks, and I'm like, this isn't the Motley Crue that like push some little dude over in Chinatown in one of their videos.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, like these guys did a cover Smoking in the Boys Room. I'm like, what is this? You know?
It's funny
But
because you'll talk to the youth and they'll tell you that album's just, it's one of the classics, right? It's in there. And I always tell people that too. It depends where you were at that stage in your life, what the scene was like, what that first Crew. Really, I love the EP and I love Shout at the Devil. To me, that's the metal Crew I love. Now, I like Theater of Pain, I like Girls, 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 and I like Dr. Feelgood, but I don't love them. Those early two to me sound like just that raw, almost punk. Not
yeah,
super produced. They're angry. They're scaring everybody, like you said. Shout at the Devil, and one of my closest friends, Theater of Pain's his favorite album, and anytime he talks to everybody, it's just so funny. People will start trashing that album, around
call
his
'em up.
age.
Send them the code.
It's true. It's just true. The
Oh,
extreme change. A band too was Machine Head when they did that rap new album, Burning Red or something. That was like they lost all those traditional metal fans. Like everybody bailed on them.
sometimes bands try to change with the times. You
Yeah.
know, their first record, that Burn My Eyes record,
Yeah.
it's a masterpiece.
Yep.
Like I lived in Boston when that came out, and I saw them with Amorphous at the City
Damn.
Club, I think, like, and everything else. And it was, I never heard them before. I had
Yeah.
tore the poster off the wall. I was like, oh my God, this band's amazing, you know. But I'm not a fan of that. Earth Crisis did that too. Earth
True.
Crisis, they changed up. But sometimes you got to change with the times.
And it did
But
work for Machine Head. That I think that was like their one gold album. It hurt them for a long time, though, is what happens sometimes. And that just reminds me too, of like Burn My Eyes. Those Roadrunner '90s releases, those early to mid '90s, when the scene changed. That was your Life of Agonies, Typo Negatives, Biohazards,
yeah,
these iconic bands. I just saw Life of Agony at the Upstairs Palladium, which was crazy. It was so weird to me being around when River Runs Red came out and Ugly, and they had all that momentum and they were just like firing on all cylinders. It was amazing to see them. They were unreal. Jasta opened, he delivered. It was a
yeah.
great show, but it was a weird experience for me seeing them in the Upstairs Palladium going like, man, I remember being 17, 18, 19 thinking this was a band that would be playing theaters or arenas forever, and it was just a weird moment.
But they changed on that Soul Searching Sun record. They
Weeds, that
did.
song Weeds, I couldn't stand the single. I hated it.
I, I think Roadrunner had maybe a hand or a push and said,
Yeah.
I mean, Keith's got a great voice.
Right.
It's that,
Yeah.
yeah. For for what they were with a hardcore band, pulled it off. But I think they were like, hey, maybe we can get you to buy a house or something like that,
Yeah.
or
Right. Yeah.
have a better car. Why don't you try a radio hit? And it
Yeah.
it didn't work. But I mean,
No.
I like that band.
It's a
You
great.
know,
I can't tell you how happy. And when they walked in right through the crowd to get to the stage, and we were, everybody my age was like a little kid. You're just looking at them, going like, here's Keith and Sal. Like, they're just right here in front of me. And he got on
yeah,
stage, and seeing him still do it with all the, he's had a lot of stuff going on in his life, and it's a strong connection for me because my middle brother, who I'll just never talk to again, unfortunately. Life of Agony and Hatebreed were his two mega bands. Life of Agony, he used to go see Keith when Keith put out the solo album back in the 90s. It was just a surreal moment for me to get to see him again. And his voice sounded like when I saw them when I was 17 or 18. The energy was there, and people everybody went apeshit for them. I was so glad to see that. That they still get that respect from the people that know them. Like, it just made me really happy to see.
yeah, exactly. I remember I was doing New York Comic Con. Had a wrestler. I was working with him, and Alan walked by because
Yeah.
he's an artist and everything like that. And he looked at me, covered in tattoos, and he gave me the nod, and I gave him the nod. Yeah, I didn't bother him. I didn't want to be like, probably the last thing he wants to talk about is Life of Agony right now.
Right.
But
Yeah.
And he knew I was looking at him. He gave me the nod. I was just like, yeah, man. I just love those records. Thank you for letting me drive around in my car and putting them on CD.
Oh,
You know,
I'll play The River Runs Red a lot, and I'll just crank that album, and that is just like it's so perfect, and it's one of those things to me. His voice is so peaked there, like you can't even replicate what he was doing on that record with those riffs. And it was a moment. I think of that, like I was saying with those Roadrunner albums, even when Sepultura changed the sound with KSAD, my favorite Sepultura album by far. I'll fucking fight somebody over that shit. I'll fuck their wives and their mothers because that album
everything's
changed
second.
me.
Yeah,
That album changed me forever. I just saw Cavalera at both places, at Hershey and at Louder Than Life, and enjoyed both sets. Like I fucking was watching the KS8 because they played it in its entirety, and that's another
yeah.
album that like people that Roadrunner era, that they were doing stuff no one else was doing until yes, they definitely did collapse it with a lot of the directions they put all the bands in, like Life of Agony.
Now is Sepultura all done? Are they
They're
done?
they're finally
Did-
retiring. Yeah. Yep.
why can't the Cavalera brothers use that name? Like,
There's
I,
know.
I probably Andreas owns it or whatever.
I think that's it. And there's nothing they can do, which is crazy.
But didn't those two dudes start the band?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know how that happened.
it's hard to believe, but I don't know. Maybe Andreas, since he's been in the band,
True.
for that long. I think he was a tech before. I don't know. Somebody told me that. I don't know if I believe it or if it's wrong, but he wasn't in the band right away, and then he ended up getting in the band.
It's crazy to see a lot of the legacy bands who ends up owning the rights, right? Like, I mean, how many times have we seen two bands with the same name? It's crazy.
Enough's enough. Look at Enough's Enough.
True.
One of your favorite bands.
One of my favorites of all time. But back, I mean, fits in with the disappointments. But then another disappointing one for me is Morbid Angel. I remember Morbid Angel being a premier name in death metal, and they put out that shit. I don't even know what it's like, a purple album. Another band that thought techno. All these fucking metal. Two things that piss me off when metal bands decide techno or country is going to be their fucking like breakthrough to the mainstream, and those crowds reject them instantly because you're a fucking metal band. It's unfortunate. You do get pigeonholed, but that Morbid Angel album, like, that album fucking sucked. I see no redeeming value in that album. I know there's like two Morbid Angels now as well, but yeah, that was a big disappointment. I never saw a death metal. I saw, I guess, Fear Factory, but they still had that industrial in them on that first album before, right? But not with Morbid Angel. They were a pure, just straight ahead death metal band and just changed their sound and destroyed the name for a while. And another disappointment.
Yeah, Faster Pussycat went that route too, doing the
That's
whole
right.
techno thing. But I think with Tammy, I don't think Tammy had a band. I think he just put
just
something
did.
out.
Yeah.
Him, it's actually pretty enjoyable. And another record that no one ever speaks of, L.A. Guns American Hardcore.
I have that on CD.
It's if it wasn't like, it's not an L.A. Guns record.
If they just put any other name on that album, it's a
Yeah,
great
it
album.
would be, but it's not, Rip and Tear and Ballad of Jane and
No, it was so ill received. I remember being, even me buying it and kind of making fun of it, like, oh, now this is fucking them. Now that it's hard band. Even though I liked the one before with Killing Machine, that I liked that album and I like that song, but that for that time, I can't explain to people that weren't around. I mean, we were around to see how that scene changed. And these bands, like, that's a great fucking album. People talk about, I heard on an interview too, with someone said to John Bush, like, if Sound of White Noise didn't say Anthrax on it, instead of being platinum, it would have been 10 times platinum. And then Stomp 442 probably would have sold. I'm like, yes, I believe that as well. And that name was holding them back. But then you'll have a label saying we have to have the name on there, right? And that it's a lot. And it was a confusing time for every metal band was struggling to stay relevant. Nobody cared anymore.
It was almost a time when bands never broke up, and then it became, okay, well, look the Misfits with Graves,
right?
Like, those two records, I love those records.
Yep.
Are they a Misfits record with Danzig? No,
not at all.
I feel it's more West Coast punk.
Yep.
You know, very melodic stuff, very sing-along stuff. Um, would it have been different if they would have called it Graves? You know, but would
Yeah.
have it have sold as good if it wasn't called the Misfits? You
It's
know,
so true. And I was one of those guys. I did one of my shticks on Danzig era only. That's what I consider the Misfits. I don't
Hmm.
acknowledge anything that doesn't have Danzig. But to your point, there's some great music out there. And all they had to do was change the name of the band, and I would have accepted it in a second. Like it wouldn't even have been a maybe to me. And the problem is, it works short term, like Sound of White Noise, right? That sold. Some of that Misfit sold, and but then it wears off on people because they're like, it's not. It's actually not the Misfits. It's not Anthrax. It's not these bands. It's hard to pull off. Some bands have pulled it off, though, right? I guess like a Van Halen completely drastically changed their sound.
I mean, how many singers did Black Sabbath have? 5.
True, true. It's weird. It depends.
You know, are you an Ozzy or Dio guy?
For me, I think Dio is the greatest metal lead singer of all time. I'm a massive Dio guy.
I like Ozzy's solo stuff better than his Sabbath stuff.
Yeah,
And maybe it's just overplayed.
could be.
You know, I'm sure everybody just clicks stop or whatever. But I was familiar with the solo stuff for early, you
Yeah.
know. But then like Dio came out with Rainbow in the Dark, and I'm like, who is this guy? And then I went
Right.
back and listened to Sabbath stuff,
Yeah.
Heaven and Hell. Come on,
Oh,
you know,
that is
Mob, you know.
that. Those are iconic. I know. And Mob Rules, when people don't give that album respect, drives me insane because that album is an insanely good. Again, it's different than Heaven and Hell, but it's just as good to me. I love those two. And for me, in the top 5 Sabbaths, those two are in there for me, right? My personal taste. And I love
Yeah.
Ozzy. I'm a super Ozzy fan. Ultimate Sin's one of my favorite. No Rest for the Wicked. No More. I mean, I
Yeah,
love.
that whole run was good. I love that run. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so good. Where most people go to the first couple, but I like that run. That era is my peak Ozzy. And I mean, I even loved Osmosis. I thought that was a really creative record for the time. The sounds changed. He pulled off some great songs on there. But like one of the saddest things for me as a metalhead was watching Dio's popularity just decline. You know, where I remember sitting there going like, man, he should. It's like there's an Ozfest. There should be a Dio Fest. There should be an Alice Cooper Fest. Like these three are equals to me. Like this makes no sense. But Ozzy just always had that better marketing, and I guess
Yeah, a team
Lunatic,
behind him.
the
Yeah.
team behind him. Yeah, all positives. But we were talking negatives, and I was thinking of some negatives too.
Drive back to the
Let's
to
get
what we're
back
doing.
on the road here. I was thinking movies. We were talking a little bit earlier, movies. One of the worst things, and this happens 80% of the time, you love a
Yeah.
movie, the sequel's coming out, you can't, and we've been burnt a billion times. You still get excited. The sequel's coming out, because once in a while there's a great sequel, right? Like Empire Strikes Back and stuff. We've had them in our time.
Yeah.
But a lot of times there's not. And I remember, like, I used to go to movie gallery with my brother, and we'd rent 5 VHSs for $5. And one of the first ones, we loved comedies, and we like rented Mallrats, and we rented Caddyshack, like stuff like that. Stripes the first time, and I remember going, "Holy shit!" This Caddyshack, like I didn't know who Rodney Dangerfield. I'm like, this is the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And I'm like, we go back, we return the movie, and we're looking through the comedies. We would do this every week. You get them for like 4 or 5 days. I'm like, is that a Caddyshack fucking 2? And Dan Aykroyd's in it? This is gotta be crazy. And within the first 8 minutes of that movie, I remember us being like, oh shit. We're fucked.
Aykroyd was in the food truck.
The food truck.
And he's feeding the guy like beans on his
stupid voices he was making.
Oh,
Jackie Mason that is the worst. Chevy Chase, they paid like $1 million to be there for 20 minutes on one day to film like a fucking camp. Like it is the worst movie. It was that sequel. I couldn't. It's one of those I've never watched again. That's very rare. I repeat movies.
I'm not going to beat it. I'm not going to beat your choice right now.
All right, but what do you got?
But I am going to come in close.
Let's hear it.
Meatballs 2.
Are you telling me you don't compare the first one with Bill Murray to the second one with the fucking aliens around the fucking campground?
Come on. The first Meatballs was a masterpiece.
I watch that every summer. I'm a nerd. Are you ready for the summer? I love that fuck. His delivery in that movie, it hasn't aged a second. You could put that
Yeah.
out today.
No, Morty.
Morty.
They put his bed everywhere. That was amazing.
Oh, it's so sick. And then Meatballs 2. I remember watching it as a kid. I'd say to my dad, like, what happened? Why is there like the alien thing? It made no fucking sense. And then they keep them going. The Meatballs 3 where there's a fucking ghost. The girl that's in Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield, the blonde, she plays the ghost in the fucking movie. Part 4,
I
Corey
didn't even see
Feldman.
that one. Ugh, did not even see that one.
You know what? That reminds me a little off topic. Not some are good, some are bad. Most are bad, but those '80s, like Police Academy. You'd watch Police Academy 1, 2, 3, 4. They'd hold up, Bobcat come, and then they would just like nosedive to unwatchable. They'd get so fucking bad, and it was just a funny time with all that shit. And they would just pump those sequels out like it was every year they pump one out. Police Academy.
I'm glad they never did an Easy Money 2. Sequel. I'll say instead of 2, sequel. Easy Money.
That is the perfect movie. I've watched it a
Leave it
zillion
alone.
times.
Leave it alone. Like it's
so
just,
good.
you know-
And we all know they used a sample for Anthrax. I'm the Man. That's right out
Yeah.
of there from Julio.
I'm the man. I'm so bad
Mr.
at shooting
Capuletti.
attention.
I love little parts in that movie, like they go to pick up the cake, and there's like squingili and cake. All these stereotypes, as they know as an Italian New Yorker, of stuff in that movie. This is gonna sound crazy to you. You don't know any Italian guys from New York. They're out of control, drinkers, gamblers. That you wouldn't hang around with scumbags like that, Roger. Correct?
One came and saw us with the band last night and gave me a real wet kiss with his scraggly beard, and I was just like, oh, I caught something. I'm sure I did. He's like, I'll see you. I'm gonna make him kiss you at the release party.
Shit. Where is the release party again? To give a shout out.
Met Cafe, November 15th.
Met Cafe.
And
nice venue, awesome venue actually.
yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun.
It'll be a lot of fun. Maybe we'll talk movies there. Maybe when I'm fucking up there, I'm seeing. I'll throw in some movie trivia, and you'll be like, "Stay on the fucking topic of music, man," and we could have a spat in front of everybody. It would be magical.
I'll have you do spoken word in between like changeovers. That's what.
How great would that be? I'm just fucking talking about all the metal moms' tits. It goes horrible. I got canceled. It's my last hour. You stop talking to me forever.
No, that would never happen.
I know we're not like that. We joke around about shit. We know what we're doing at all times. But some of those movies, a movie that was another one that people just forget to me, like how was Friday the 13th. Not Friday the 13th. Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Nightmare on Elm Street 2 just like fucking goes off. Part 1's a classic. Part 3 is Dream Warriors with Dokken. Part 2 is just fucking, I don't know. It just didn't. It's just one of those movies that like didn't click with me. I wouldn't call it an all-time worst sequel, but it's not like a very memorable one for me.
But the crossover with Jason and Freddy was just like, whoa. You put two iconic like
I know
slashers in one movie. It's just kind of like all the Marvel movies. How they do all the comic books now and everything like that. Yeah.
The one Jason, we're speaking of Jason, that Jason X, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking, where Jason's in outer space. The only good thing about the movie, there's a part where they go back into the 80s, and there's two hot chicks in bikinis, and then he takes them in a fucking sleeping bag, and he's like beating them into the tree. That part is hysterical to me. Well, talk about movies that go off the rail, like he's in the outer space, Leprechaun goes to outer space, Leprechaun in the Hood. Like they take these movies and they just destroy them.
What about Spaceballs?
Isn't there
Remember Spaceballs?
I do.
The Spaceballs is coming out.
Did you hear about that?
Not the first one.
Did you hear about that? They say that new Spinal Tap was unwatchable. They said that was just like, it's 40 years after the first movie.
I don't even think the first one was that funny. Like if you got it, if you were a musician, 100%, you connect with it. But was it hilarious? Like there's nothing worse than something going wrong on a podcast or on stage or this and that.
It is the worst.
It's not funny.
It's
not funny.
At all. It's a nightmare. And people don't know. It's not only when it goes wrong. Then it's that after everything's done and everyone's all hyper and they want to talk to you and you're just done. You're done with life. You're like, I'm going to just go into a fucking... And then it doesn't end that night either. Instead of waking up the first morning and getting excited about you accomplishing a show, right? What do we do to ourselves? It's like you just go back to that moment. So, no, I agree. That's not a funny fucking topic.
Yeah, last night in Rhode Island, I don't know if anybody noticed it, but I put a little water on my cymbals. I didn't even tell my guys. So they go over to the kind of in front of me. I'm like, oh no, this isn't going to be good.
Oh.
So I have to, of course, I got to crash in. I
Yeah.
crash in, water goes all over him. Mike turns around. It's like, what the fuck was that? I was like, I should have warned him.
Oh man, you know that maybe that's your new gimmick. Maybe you're like Trickster, you're
Oh,
wacky
my
fucking fun
God.
band or Scatterbrain or some shit. I don't know.
I was actually in we're doing a weekend thing with George Lynch in February.
Nice.
So I had to do a Zoom call with one of the guys from Trickster, one of the guys from Lynch's band, a few
Really?
other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought it was today
Yep.
or Saturday or whatever. Says, hey, can you do the Zoom call at 1:00? I'm like, yeah, not a problem. I haven't fucking eaten for like a day.
Oh no.
I can't eat it late at night because I got blessed with that fucking acid reflux shit.
Yeah.
So here I am. We get going. I think I had 2 stale muffins in the morning with some jelly in the free breakfast place. It was so busy. I'm like, fuck this. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just eat at Subway. I'm in the Subway line. My phone goes off. It says Zoom meeting. I'm like, I haven't eaten fucking 24 hours.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy fucking shit. So here I am pumping gas. I press attach. Everybody I think except Jaron, the bass player from Lynch, was in his car. But I'm like, sorry guys, I'm just pumping gas. We're just coming from a show. And I'm like, what the fuck's my life becoming right now, right?
Exactly. Amazing.
And the guy goes, hey man, can you mute your microphone because it's buzzing? I muted it. I looked at my buddy. I'm like, I'm so hungry right now, but I don't want to
Yeah.
feed my face on this fucking
Oh,
Zoom call. I'm like, God,
brutal.
everybody else eats cheeseburgers and fucking smells like a big bacon factory in
Yeah.
the fucking.
Oh, the worst.
Yeah.
That's fucking great. And there's things of the magical life of touring and the magical life of being in a band. And Trickster was one of those bands to me. They just came out a little too late, but I used to really enjoy them in the early 90s, and it used to annoy me.
Yeah.
They didn't get that next pop. And Lynch Mob, I remember getting from Columbia House, Wicked Sensation, and popping that baby. And that title track is vicious. That title track is just, he's got lots of great lots of great albums, lots of great songs, but that Wicked Sensation, I recommend that to fucking anybody. I think that could have been up there with anything. Again, if it was out just a little earlier.
Yeah, but was it out at the right time and everybody? I think in the 90s, like so many genres came in.
They
It-
came from everywhere.
It's not that it killed it. It's just more choices.
True.
100% more choices. And
Yep.
like me, I don't listen to 90s stuff. I mean,
Right.
I like Soundgarden, Nirvana, Alice in Chains. I like that stuff, but it's not the first thing I listen to. I still
Right.
listen to what I.
Yeah. And speaking of lots of choices and what you like, you're on the road. Do you love these segues here? You got to eat, which I
It's so
experienced.
professional.
Right back on there, which I experienced on the Metal Horror Madman World Tour of 2025, where I was at Silver Scream, and I was at WE Raw, and I was at Louder Than Life, and I was at fucking Hershey Slayer, and it ended with Life. No, it's not. The Biohazard will be the end when we hang out at the Palladium, which is going to be sick
Right.
as fuck. But one thing I learned that I didn't realize, finding food and trying to eat healthy seemed, Roger, I couldn't believe how impossible. We were so excited to be like, we found a fucking Checkers. We found a Carl's Jr. Because some of the stuff was so shitty when we had to eat out of a fucking gas station after Slayer in Pennsylvania because nothing's fucking open. And you're getting price gouged at a Turkey Hill fucking gas station I never fucking heard of. And they're charging me $6 for a half a shit sandwich. And I'm going, no matter what I did, I'm at Louder Than Life. I'm eating, $12 slices of fucking pizza. I'm staying at the casino hotel, but in Kentucky, all they believe in is shit. So I'm having chicken fucking fingers dipped in fucking butter with a pizza. And the lady tells me at the register, good choice. I love the butter sauce dripping. And I was like, I just want a pizza. I thought that was like a pizza with vegetables.
Your heart's going like this.
Holy
fucking.
shit.
Every time you
Dude,
chew on it.
we get this green bean thing. I have no idea. It's deep fried green beans with a ranch dressing sauce. And we're eating, and I'm going to die on this trip. Like, nothing. I could not eat healthy. And then I didn't want to either, though. I'd be so fucking exhausted. Like, the thought of a salad, or like I'd pass a sushi place, and then I'm going, do I want to waste that kind of money right now? I got all this money on airplane tickets and Ubers and fucking, all this other shit. So I was wondering, when you're out there, what's been the most? You're starving, like you said. You got to eat. You can't take it anymore. You'll eat fucking anything. You'll eat a fucking Enough's Enough record, which you can find in a lot of value bins. But you've got to go there, and you're going, I got to eat something. You go to the place, and the place just sucks. It was just so disappointing.
You know who disappoints me every time? Taco Bell.
Really?
I love the Taco Bell food, but it never looks like that in the picture.
Yeah, true.
Never. Like, you'll get like the soft taco. There'll be like 7 gristly pieces of chicken in there with some brown lettuce and one drop. You ask for sour cream and it's on like the left side. They
It's
can't even
true.
slice it across. Like, that's disappointing. Like,
So
make it look like it a little. Like, how much does chicken cost? Like, come on.
It's fucking. They should be ashamed of themselves. We should file a fucking class action lawsuit. For me, it was Wendy's. Every fucking time they forget stuff in there. The fries are cold, and their fries are not great on in the first fucking place. And the burgers, I used to like a junior bacon cheeseburger deluxe. I'm trying to be, and it's just like a piece of shit. It's like shit wrapped in aluminum foil. It fucking sickened me. They've let me down so many times.
The cheese doesn't melt either. You ever see melted cheese? Is that weird? Next time you go to Wendy's, just look at the cheese, and it looks like it was just freshly cut. It just doesn't melt.
You're so I never thought it. Like, McDonald's cheese melts. It may be a piece of crap burger, but it melts.
Yeah.
One of my happiest moments on the road there is, and speaking of Taco Bell, these 2 fucking nitwits I'm with go to fucking Taco Bell and then start complaining about stuff you're talking about. But I'm like, we're at the food court in the mall, which, by the way, if you got to get to Hershey Park for a Slayer show with 30,000 people, don't go to the mall first. It's like 45, 50 minutes away, assuming there will be no traffic when you get to the venue. Huge rookie mistake. But fuck the Hershey Park venue, actually. I had some fucking security asshole come up to me and go, "You're being vulgar." And I go, "Lady, I'm at a fucking Slayer concert. I'm loud and vulgar. That's what I'm supposed to be." And then I go to her, "Don't worry, I'm not really going to fuck all the metal moms." And she actually started laughing, and we diffused the situation. But I had followers tell me, what'd you say?
Did she give you a little candy bar? Here, have a Hershey Kiss. Calm down, man.
No, she didn't. She fuck that lady. And then they were like, the other security was fucking watching you the whole. And I mean, don't get me wrong. At this point of the Madman tour, I'm out of control. My ego. I've thrown 1,000 Slayers. I'm taking pictures. I am out. This is Madman peak. He's the king. He's confidence. Nothing. No shame. Having a great time. A Slayer show. A Slayer show. But that venue. The security, it seems like they have the people that are guarding fucking Sesame Street. And then when you get into that venue, there's like an 8-lane highway, Roger. I couldn't believe this. They put Exodus on 15 minutes early, which I've never seen that happen in my life. 15 minutes early at a major show like that. We're all standing at the crosswalk. We waited 30 or 40 minutes. Cars went one way. They went that way. They went this way. People start yelling at the security, the cops who was directing. It was the most chaotic. Seriously, fuck that venue. Fuck your candy. I'll have some Linden. I'm high class like that. I don't need Hershey's shit. I'm glad your fucking theme park fucking sucks. Go anywhere. Go to the fucking Pocket Pool theme park for all I fucking care. Hershey fucking Park, these assholes. I was having such a good, and everyone was having a good time, and I was like, guys, the only thing that broke my heart there was no one threw chairs. They had the pits. They had 2 pits and standing, and then there was a floor section, which was kind of crazy to me at Slayer, and there was all chairs. And I'm going, they're giving me shit. People should be picking these chairs up and throwing them at the fucking stage. This should be 1994 fucking Slayer. Fucking, no, it's gone.
No.
It's gone.
That's when they don't have shows like this anymore. Remember Woodstock and they done shit?
But it's Slayer. It's fucking Slayer.
Slayer fans are now They were 30, now they're 50, and they think about their jobs the next day instead of, of getting arrested. And
I
besides
went
you,
there.
you don't shit.
I didn't give
You're
a
probably
shit.
you probably got arrested today.
I honestly was actually hoping, because I'm like, if I get arrested, I'm gonna make them drag me out of here. This content is gonna be amazing. I'll be screaming fucking Slayers and Atticus, and all the loyal Metal Horror Madman followers would be screaming Slayers. It would be the greatest moment. Granted, it could have caused a lot of problems, but to your point, I
It'll
don't
be your
give a
last
shit.
post online.
I don't give a shit. I really don't. I feel that's the metal way. I'm a psychopath, and we know this. But yes, so when I was at the food court though at this mall, I didn't have the Taco Bell. I found the fucking it was like a Panda Express ripoff. I got 4 choices, 11.9. I brought it back and they were like, "Holy shit, you got rice noodles and egg foo young and egg." I'm going, yeah, I'm not a fucking moron. Like, I'm having this is like a real meal. We've been eating nothing but fast food and gas station food during this week. That honestly tasted like Thanksgiving dinner to me. It was that good to get like a meal.
I like that whole display of Chinese food. Like you look at it, like you can. We went. We had the food drive. The annual drive last week at the store, and we searched for sushi. Ace wanted to go out for sushi. It brought us to a Japanese Chinese buffet. Yeah, and I'll tell you, we ate good.
Yeah,
it was good. Like I went up there and I gave the guy a couple bucks and he just sliced some rice and some chicken, teriyaki sauce. My buddy Barnaby goes, "Where'd you get that?" Like I invented like the light bulb or something.
Right.
I'm like, "Yeah, man, throw him $3. He'll cook it for you." Yeah. Oh my God, I've never seen that before. He was so enthralled at my meal. So he went up there. He came back with a huge plate of shit. Oh, it was funny.
People don't understand. I always think of My Blue Heaven, which is actually, I learned, Steve Martin, comedy mob movie, was actually the sequel to Goodfellas. If you do a deep dive on this, it was supposed to be Henry Hill after Goodfellas. And then, of course, Hollywood gets involved. It turns into a comedy, and now it's Steve Martin. I love the movie. It's a guilty pleasure for sure. But I fucking think of that fucking movie, and it's a line in that movie where he goes, "It's not tipping I believe in, it's over tipping." And people don't understand what over tipping gets you in your lifetime. The perks I get sometimes at valets, where my car comes, I've watched in certain, I'm not going to say the places because that's my fucking secret and my ego, but I go to places where I'll watch people waiting and my car just comes right there all complaining. I've been out there for a half hour, or I'm out and I'm fucking throwing money here and there. I'm not doing it to even be a fucking big shot. I really do respect what people do like that. I've had all these jobs. I know what it's like when they don't tip you, and there's a lot of dipshits out there still like that. People I know that I just can't be around. There are people I just don't go out with any, because I'd have people like, "Oh, this wasn't good," and they wouldn't tip, and then I'm going up to the register after throwing them, 20 fucking % just because I can't stand any of that type of shit. But when you're saying throw bucks, like if you have it, if you could be generous, I believe in that. Yeah. Be generous to people, and they'll be generous back to you, and it's just something that you do if you can.
I got a $2 tip today at the store.
Did you?
It was nice. I was low on ones.
See?
Guy goes, "You can keep it." I'm just like, good, because I'm low on ones. The record was 18. He gives me a 20. He's like, "You can keep it." I'm like, "God, thank you." It's not that I needed the $2, but I kind of needed the ones.
Seriously, in an old fucking 80s cheap, comedy movie, they'd be like, "Oh, now I'm gonna put my kid through fucking college or something." But I appreciate whenever they do that.
The fucking bank's not open till Tuesday, so I'm kind of fucked on ones right now.
That's that's right, yeah.
I'm just gonna go to Taco Bell and get a taco and ask for all ones back. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, give them 100 and buy one taco. They love that at places. Everybody fucking loves that type of shit. That would be a disappointment. We were talking about another disappointment. I fucking forget what we were talking about. Was it lead singers? It was something. What the fuck were we saying?
Maybe lead singers at a show. We can do something like that.
Lead Singers Live is a great one where you've got the album. This album is perfection, right? You can't believe this person's voice. This is unreal to you. How are they getting these sounds out of their vocal cords? And then you go to the concert and you're like, this is the worst shit I've ever heard in my life. This is unlistenable. What is going on with this? And it doesn't mean that they always sound like that. It could just be a bad show. That happens. I'll tell you, like Rob Zombie. Anytime I saw Rob Zombie, he had a cold, and I was disappointed. Anytime. It was the weirdest thing. I go, he just sounds off. I love Rob. Wow, he can't. I just saw him at Louder Than Life, and I'm not sure. It could have been a couple of things. Louder Than Life was one of my greatest experiences ever as Metal Heart Madman. It was unbelievable. I just still can't believe it. Seeing those bands were unbelievable. I was gonna, seeing Slayer. It just, you go into the theme park there, they give you a ticket to that. I'm screaming Slayers on rock. Just having a fucking time of my life. I'm seeing all these iconic bands. I'm watching Exoduses and Municipal Wastes, and everybody's just tearing fucking Cannibal Corpse. Everybody's killing it. And I'm just watching this stuff, but Rob Zombie comes out and does that performance, and it was one of the greatest performances I've ever seen. And I'm going, was it because his voice was peak? Was it because he played Astro Creep, its entirety, and I got that old nostalgia? I don't know. Yeah. But I was disappointed beforehand. Twice I saw him. And I mean, I saw him once with Alice Cooper during Rock and Shock. I saw him a second time with Alice Cooper and Mance. And both times I was just like, and then I was like, or was it Alice is that good live? And I'm a massive Alice Cooper fan. And I'm like, is he just overshadowing, even Rob Zombie can't keep up with him. So that was disappointment for me, though. I wasn't even going to say that one. I had 10 other ones in mind. But the first time I saw Rob Zombie, I was very excited. It was Rock and Shock. Love Rock and Shock. Miss Rock and Shock. Saw him with Alice Cooper during that tour. And his voice just wasn't there. I couldn't hear the vocals. I don't know if it was the microphone. He sounded like he had a cold. But I was so disappointed because I was such a big fan,
Yeah, I think I was at that Mansfield show, too.
Yep.
And I'm a White Zombie fan.
Okay.
I like White Zombie stuff. It's a little bit more heavier, a little bit more.
Oh,
it's
for
not
sure.
That same tempo that a lot of his newer stuff is. Just radio friendly.
Right.
World. I like the heavier White. Comes out with Astro Creep and all that other stuff.
Astro Creep live at Louder Than Life, Roger. I can't I was losing my mind. I forgot how heavy that album was live, right? Because studio, it's heavy, it's great, but it's got, that heavier production and stuff over Las Exorcisto. But live was like, that was the heaviest fucking show ever. It was like grinding almost doom metal. It was just brutally heavy.
I'm weird. I like a lot of the band's first records.
Yep.
I really do. I just think the Hatebreed records. I love Satisfaction.
Right.
With like the Machine Head record, like the Life of Agony record we talked about. The first Wasp record. Even the early Bon Jovi stuff. Like, it had a better take on it.
Actually,
Crew stuff. Like
instead of the giving me a singer, what was the worst second album where you were like, We'll keep Theater of Pain out of it. We brought that one up, right? I'm going to try and think of one, too, where you were so fucking stoked over that first album. The second album came out, and you were just like, what happened?
What's the record after Back in Black?
For Those About to Rock.
Was it?
Yep.
I mean, that's a great song, but like
weak album.
That Back in Black record was so strong. Like, how do you write a second record?
True.
I worry about the All Sinners stuff. Everybody loves our demo.
Right.
This new record's a total switch. More produced, everything else. We could lose some people. We could lose 4 people out of the 8 that like us.
We're not losing anybody. That's what I'm here for. We'll correct them, but I will tell you, I understand your concern, but
every band does.
Every band, I don't think you have that concern. And also, to your point of the demo, this is the first. No matter what, as great as any demo and stuff before that, this is the first album. I don't think you have anything to worry about. That's my opinion.
What about the Drain record? The second Drain record. That was the third Drain record with Bob on it. That was the disappointment.
We don't bring up that band. We said I'm not dealing with this shit again.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's funny though. I think it's what you said too. It's like you take Back in Black, and then the next album, they're trying to change the sound again. They're trying to evolve. They put out an iconic song.
Mhm.
And then those they had a run of albums that they couldn't get anything right. They just couldn't. You know, you needed like Who Made Who to come out from the Maximum Overdrive soundtrack, where they started like, okay, we're getting our bearings again.
Yeah.
Because to me, if that doesn't come out and that doesn't start getting the heat for them, you know, you don't know. It's amazing to watch disappointments. Watching one of my favorite '80s bands, watching a band like Rat just devolve into certain things over time. Where to me, like Rat Crew, Def Leppard, these were all equals to me, and
Yeah.
even if Rat got the lineup, they're not going to be playing the places some of the peers are playing, and I just never could understand it because to me they got 30 fucking elite songs, 30 perfect songs. And I know people say, well, not everyone can vibe with Piercy's voice. I get it, but I don't know. I liked them better than Crew, believe it or not.
Yeah. No, that Invasion of Your Privacy record, Reach the Sky.
Oh,
But when they can't, and I'm, I'm not friends with Steven, but we've, talked 100 times. But
Yeah.
like that Way Cool Jr. song,
yeah,
lost me. Cinderella, which I love the record now, but when Cinderella came out with Heartbreak Station, it was acoustic.
Right,
they
right.
they went acoustic. Like
yeah.
I wanted night songs, but then they came out with Still Climbing, and a lot of people ignored that record. But that record should have came
That's
out before Heartbreak
that's a great
Station.
with Freewheeling. That's a great album, and
Yeah,
I remember that
yeah.
coming out, and I remember getting nothing. Tesla Bust the Nut, even to me, should get a lot more respect than it gets. And I look at some of these things though, and I think a lot of things are time and timing. And I mean, you could look at any band. There's people, that were huge into Slayer fucking Show No Mercy, and they didn't like anything fucking after that. There's people that will
Yeah.
tell you Metallica peaked at Ride the Lightning. There's a lot of people that will say that, and they firmly believe that. Anthrax is. I love State of Euphoria. I love Persistence of Time. There's people that despise that. They can sell out. The songs are more structured. They were better produced. You could take any, and I tell that it's funny when I'm talking to a lot of the younger metalheads, and I'm going, I love these albums as much as you do. But you don't know, now they get recognition. At the time, people fucking shit on these out. People were disgusted with these bands. So it just depends where you get into the band, I guess, too,
Yeah, I have a guy at my store who, like, I put out some like sealed load records.
Yep.
He's got like 20 of them.
Really?
I'm like, what are you doing? He buys them every time. Oh, I need this. I'm like, what do you need it for? You got 20 of them. 20 fucking sealed. You're never gonna go through that in your lifetime.
No.
I went to the Metallica show with a friend of mine who liked that 90s stuff, and he's singing along to, those songs. And I'm like looking at him, I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. And then the people in front of us, they were cheering, like, and they're playing, Hero for the Day and all that stuff. And I'm like, now's the time. This is when I go to the bathroom.
Right.
Like, I want to hear Fight Fire with Fire and, everything else.
It's all perspective. It is true. It's all perspective, and we forget that. We all forget that when we're going to see a show, and you're like, "Fuck, why do they got to play stuff off this album or that album?" And even Tendencies, when I saw them, and they played something like they played the song Freedom, and people thought that was so great, and I'm like, that's not Tendencies to me. I want Rocky George era. That's what he didn't play Institutionalized. I fucking couldn't believe it. I'm like, how do we switch those fucking songs out? Like, what are we fucking doing here? I saw you, like, I just think all those things, but then I go, but there was people that got into that band in the 90s, right? There's people that's when they first. Same with Anthrax and Megadeth. I remember Megadeth when Euthanasia came out, which I love that album, but that is the farthest thing from Megadeth. If you came up with them from Killing Is My Business and Peace Out, that is a different band, right? That is not even the same universe of a sound. And I remember watching that show Blossom in the 90s, fucking Blossom. And she goes like, I could go to a concert, Green Day or Megadeth. And I'm like, no. Did she just Blossom? I could go to Megadeth. No, that's for us scumbag dirtbags and mosh. But it changed. So the people that got into them during Euthanasia and Cryptic Writings are not this. There's people that don't want to hear those songs. They want to play something else from Rust in Peace. You could play every song, off that fucking album. It's perfect.
Hangar 18, one of my favorite songs. Like that beginning riff is like, oh my God,
It's funny. I remember I was in 6th grade and I hung out with these real burnout scumbags, and they were into carnivores and fucking death and all this real heavier shit. I was transitioning over from a lot of like glam and regular hard rock, and I started getting into like the Black Album came out by Metallica, Countdown to Extinction came out, Sandra and these were like Alice Cooper, Hey Stupid, like these were just fucking fire albums to me, and they were like, do you know what all these bands used to sound like? Like, go listen to Alice Cooper, Killer. Go listen to Megadeth, Killing Is My Business. Like, the Black Album? What are you out of your fucking mind? Like, have you heard Kill 'Em? But I didn't. Those are my intro. So well, you're not hot with the Black Album. I fucking love the Black. I love the Black Album, and then Injustice, because that's the second one I got into, and it was so much heavier from the Black Album. That's always been my favorite. But then you'll go, how could that be? That's crazy, and I could understand because it's so different than the other three. It's night and day.
Yep. Yeah, it's just that's my dog in the background, by the way. So if you hear some crazy growling,
it's for the Halloween theme of the episode.
She likes to scratch her back. That's Penelope. But it's good though. Like going back to the whole thing, you don't want a band to write the same record.
No. No, it's and the other thing to always remember is any band, there's going to be ups and downs in the industry. You could be the biggest fucking band in the universe. There's going to be times when, like I talked to, like seeing Ronnie James Dio playing small little places was crazy. Alice Cooper playing the fucking Wolf's Den for free at the Mohegan Sun is psychotic to think about. Like, but that's where the scene, Anthrax, selling 200 tickets. That's where the scene was at one time. And, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. They could have put out, Anthrax could have put out another fucking Among the Living. It wasn't going to matter in those era. In 2000, no one's going to care. There's ups and downs. You got to ride with it. You're allowed to change your sound. You're allowed to experiment. Sometimes it pays off. Sometimes it doesn't. Just keep playing, right? To me, that's my message to everybody. Just keep playing and love what you're doing.
Exactly. And let it be in business or relationships or your dog itching his back.
And the dog's telling you, we got to go here. We've had a great time. We've talked ups and downs. Let's remind everybody, album's coming out, where to go grab it. Let's talk about the record release. You have a Christmas show, I think. Let everybody know what's going on here.
So November 14th and 15th, we have a release party in New Hampshire at the Opera House with Dangerous Toys. And then the 15th, we are at the Met Cafe with Dangerous Toys again, and our buddy Pink Acoustic.
Great.
He'll be there playing. Real nice dude. He needs to finish the songs I played drums for. You can pre-order the record on ratpackrecords.com. The videos on, hold on, Penelope. The videos on YouTube. Into the Flames. That's the first single, and we haven't really announced it, but the second single, World is Burning, is coming out the 31st. And that's
awesome.
that's a shredder too. It's really fast.
Sick.
It's kind of like, to me, I don't think it's the strongest track on the record, but I think the label thinks that a lot of people will,
yeah,
because of the name, they're really going to listen to it.
Definitely.
And then yeah, exactly. But ratpackrecords.com, and if you're near a record store, they can order it. You can totally order it. Amped is distroing it, and the Orchid and all those guys. Either that or inbox me on purchasestreetrecords.com, and I'll sell you a copy somehow.
Awesome. All great news, all great stuff. Great to see you again.
Yeah.
Keep up the momentum. All Sinners coming at you. World domination 2025. 2026 is going to be even bigger. Catch them at his show. Look at these legacy bands they get to open up with. Go check out Purchase Street Records. There's shit in there that'll blow your mind. Every fucking album you can think of, metal, hardcore, goth is sitting there. Roger, it's been a pleasure. Till we ride again, my friend.
Bye, buddy.
See you
Alice
later.
came over.